Hello everyone, welcome back to the show. We're here at Circumcise Me, written and performed by Israel Campbell. It's a play about one man's Jewish journey. Let's take a look.
Obviously I'm not a Haredi, I'm wearing a blue shirt. Though I did bring my Haredi briefcase. What is it with the plastic bag? Right? $3,000 on a fur hat. You can't buy a canvas bag? I'm not saying you have to go to Coach, but somewhere between the $3,000 fur hat and the free plastic bag, there's got to be a middle ground. I live in Israel, so I brought some stuff from there. You know what this is? Almost 500 people were killed in traffic accidents in the state of Israel last year. And this is the government's official response. Build a better Target. Right? I would no more wear this on the side of an Israeli highway than I would to, say, a Dick Cheney hunting party. For years. I would love to be done by tomorrow night when Yom Kippur starts. He says to meet him at the remote Eshkol shopping center at 9 a.m. He says, I'm doing a kid, we'll do the kid, we'll do you, we'll go to the mikvah. He wants to do a 2-for-1 special. I can understand that. Suddenly I'm worried about the poor baby's grandfather. One minute he's holding his 8-year-old grandson, the next minute he's got me in his lap. I chose Yisrael for all of its meanings and implications. God of Israel, people of Israel, the land of Israel. But what it literally means is he who wrestles with God. Actually, that's the perfect name for me.
Okay, so we just saw the show, and I gotta tell you, it was fantastic. How do you bring your emotions to the stage like that?
It really is. I mean, I've been doing this piece as an hour of stand-up for several years. First in Israel, then in the States, and back and forth. And when we brought in Sam Gold and Eva Price to produce it and to direct it, we really reshaped it as a theater piece. And it's only about 15, 20 minutes longer than it was, but it is an emotionally demanding piece like it never was. I mean, I actually am calling back on the drama school education I received over 20 years ago to go from the beginning to end, because there's an arc to the story in the way that there never was. And you start in one place and you end in another.
Right. And you have a very interesting life. Obviously, it's not a typical,
right.
You didn't just convert. You converted not once, not twice, 3 times.
That's right. Free circumcision is not a religious covenant, it's a fetish.
And, what are you looking to do through your play?
I think more than it being an outreach tool for Irish Italian Catholics from suburban Philadelphia to become Orthodox Jews living in Jerusalem, more than that, as rich as that audience must be, I'm telling a story about a journey, a spiritual quest, but also a search for identity to find out. And I think that resonates for everyone, whether you're Jewish or Catholic. I've stood in the outside the theater every night, and people come up to me and they say, "I'm a Catholic from the Bronx." That's a great story. Like, it doesn't. You don't have to be me for this to resonate, which is nice.
Right. What does it mean to be Jewish?
I think it means to struggle. I mean, it means to engage. That's what I think it is. I mean, I don't feel like, I've found God. I feel like I've found a community of people with which I can struggle to have a relationship with God. Mm-hmm. And that's a very life-filled thing. It's not something that takes place on a mountain. It's not something that takes place away from society. It's right in the mix. That's why I wanted to do this. I've told this story in synagogues and Hillels and places like Jewish federations and stuff. we're standing in the Bleecker Street Theater. This is not a Jewish building. It's not a Jewish theater. This is. I wanted to push it out beyond just the Jewish shtetl of the Upper West Side into the whole world.
Right. I think that's really an important part of Judaism, and bringing like a light into the nations.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really showing, and I think through the arts, Judaism can be loved by a lot of different people, but a lot of people who might have not connected to their Jewish roots is a whole new
I'd love to wake people up to their own identity, whatever that is. It's not a Kiruv piece. I'm not here as an organ of any one of the denominations. I speak of all the denominations. I think both lovingly and critically. There's what to love about all of them, and there's what to be critical about all of them. But it's nobody's. I'm not an agent for a group.
Right.
This is one man's story and the journey that I went on and the places that I've been.
How long did it take you to write it?
Well, as I said, I've been doing it as an hour of stand-up for many years, and then we did one draft last fall, and then walked away from it for a while, and then we worked for about 8 weeks this summer. We both first with Annie Levy and then with Sam Gold again, and put it together as it is now.
And one of the things that I loved about the piece is that you touched so many different types of emotions and feelings. You had the comedy, you had the serious parts of it, and then you tied everything together like so beautifully that the audience really gets a sense of who you are. And I think that it's very rare now where you can come away and you're like, I get him, Right. But it's a beautiful part because you learn a respect for yourself and what you got there. But the whole process of growing as a Jew and as a person.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, it feels like a whole piece. Whereas it used to be stand up and I do this or not do this, and I throw this in or throw that out. Now it has a starting point, it has an end point, and it feels like it's really, that the journey is made each and every show, which is in itself kind of emotionally exhausting.
Is there anything that you're planning for the future?
Well, we're talking about doing a national tour, like some kind of national touring, and I've been approached about putting it into book form, which is appealing to me because I would love people to be able to hear my story without me having to be in the room. I love telling people my story, but I think I would even love more telling people my story while I was taking care of my kids.
That's great. So you live in Jerusalem now?
Yeah, we're here for the year. Yeah. We're on the Upper West Side for the year. A couple of years ago, I did a lot of traveling back and forth, and we all came for the year. We're all here. The plan is to be back in Jerusalem in September, and then I'll do the touring from there.
That's great. Like I said, it's a fantastic play.
Thank you very much.
I wish you all the luck.
Thank you.
And look forward to sharing future successes.
Thank you. Thanks.
As you can see, this play was unbelievable, full of emotions, comedy, and just an all-around good time. Check it out online at circumcisemetheplay.com. This is Aaron Harmon saying, Shalom.